Welcome to VR Fitness and my garage VR dungeon. Today we're going to talk about Thrill of the Fight. So the Thrill of the Fight is one of the best overall VR fitness experiences you can have, and it's also by far the best VR boxing experience you can have. However, one problem comes with that is that most people, they don't have the luxury of a gigantic VR space. Most people, their space is more limited, and they're essentially forced to fight in the phone booth the entire time with limited opportunities to circle, limited opportunities for head movement. Instead, they're just basically in a phone booth playing rock and sock and robots. So because of that, blocking is of utmost importance. So most VR boxers nowadays, they're on a Quest 2, so I'm going to focus on that. The trouble with the Quest 2 is that it uses inside-out tracking, meaning that the sensors, you can see 4 of them on the headset here, they fire out and at an angle, and none fire straight down. So if you're a boxer with maybe a lower stance, kind of like this, then the Quest 2 is going to have trouble detecting your hands because the infrared beams, again, none of them fire straight down. So there might be some adjustments you have to make here when you're playing the game. And that takes us to today's video. I'm going to test out a bunch of different blocking techniques in the Thrill of the Fight, and I'm going to see which one is most effective in absorbing punches from your opponent. So these tests, they do not incorporate things like movement and head movement, because like I said in the beginning, most people in their VR space, they don't have that luxury, and they're essentially fighting in a phone booth. So let's get started. So today we're going to test 5 stances today. First one is more of just a control test. This is the bro stance. Basically, no technique, my chin is up, and I'm just serving myself to the opponent on a silver platter. Next stance is just a lower hand test. So some fighters, they like to place their hands low. Even in like MMA sometimes, you see like Conor McGregor back in the day, he used to take more of a lower karate stance. The gist is basically their hands are going to be lower, and we'll see if this is effective at all in the Thrill of the Fight. Next is the traditional boxing stance. This is what most gyms teach you when you start boxing. Essentially chin tucked and gloves right around your chin, nice and tight. This places you in a nice position to be able to defend yourself and also set up your offense as well. Next is the boxing high guard. So if you're facing a headhunter, this will be particularly effective. Basically, your hands are up in a pretty exaggerated motion, and you're just thinking all about defense. So the downside to this is obviously it's harder to set up your offense from here with your hands being up so high. However, if you're facing an onslaught, then this will be particularly effective in you not getting knocked out. And last is the Muay Thai high guard. So this is pretty similar to the high guard, however things are a bit more fluid, your hands are a bit more extended. This is a lot of Muay Thai people use this because they're more heavy on parrying, and they like to keep things more fluid so they can set up, so they'll be able to leverage their hips more to be able to set up kicks and things like that. All right, so headset on, let's get to testing. So I got my good friend, Edward Moneymaker Price, toughest opponent in the game, and a couple of custom settings that I put here. So it's gonna be a 1-round fight, 120 seconds, and I put him on our class difficulty with a couple of adjustments. First of all, I made his power down to the lowest level, so he's basically firing a squirt gun at me, and I increased his aggression to the max. So this is just to maximize the amount of punches he throws at me throughout the course of the fight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to conduct the fight. And conduct the fight using the different types of guards, and we'll see which is the most effective in blocking the most punches. Let's do it. So first will be the bro stance, hands down. Come at me, bro. Come at me, bro. Chin up. No defense. Let's see how I did. So he was able to land 56% of his power shots and 35% of his total shots. So that's that test. Let's try out some different stances. If you don't mind my low production value Excel spreadsheet, here are the results. The main measure is percentage of shots the computer is able to land. Of course, the lower the number, the better. So starting at the bottom here, unsurprisingly it was a bro stance, pretty much no defense. The computer landed 35% of their punches. Nothing should be surprising there. Next up is the high guard. Not very effective either, with the computer landing about 30% of their blows. The problem with this one was definitely the sensors of the Quest 2, as you really need to hold your hands up in an exaggerated manner. If you place your hands too close to the face, then the Quest will simply lose track of where your hands are. So overall, pretty ineffective. In the middle here is the Muay Thai stance, with a much more effective 22% landing rate from the computer. Since you extend your hands well in front of your face, the sensors do a better job at recognizing that you're indeed trying to block straight blows coming at your head. And the same thing with the low guard at 22% as well. Though my hands were low, they were still in front of me, so I was able to catch a lot of hooks and punches coming from lower angles. And that leads us to the clear winner. The textbook regular stance, which is by far the best block rate, with the computer only landing 10% of their punches. This was such a great result, I actually did a second test and got virtually the same number at 11%. The winner is the regular stance. Just chin down, nice and tight. Chin down, hands near your face. And at the stance, you're able to kind of like slip, roll, bob, weave. You're able to initiate your offense. You're able to throw all sorts of strikes from this position. And then in the game itself, the computer definitely registers that your chin is lower and your gloves are protecting your chin. And it was really hard for the computer to actually penetrate my defenses here. So yeah, listen to your boxing coaches. Stick with the basics. Chin down, hands up. And that's going to be the best way to defend yourself in the throw of the fight.